Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for inviting me and Shabir Bhai for this meeting. We are very happy to interact with you in detail on halal investments, the Sharia angle to the whole subject. Alhamdulillah, most of us are aware कि Islamic banking fundamentals basics क्या है पता है, and we also know about mutual funds. We also know about halal investments in the market, but maybe we are not focused on it. So we're trying to bring some kind of a communication with our leaders here, and inshallah the message will spread. That's our hope. So starting with, I know some of you are bankers, engineers, and senior professionals. So I will be talking on an equal level, like a senior to senior, inshallah. Islamic banking is not still legal in India. Banks, Islamic banks. But Islamic banking or Islamic investments is on since at least 6-7 years. Precise information will come from Shabir Bhai. Me and Shabir Bhai have been in activist groups in Dubai, Oman, as well as India, where we hold workshops on Islamic banking and Islamic investments, and we conduct seminars at various places. I have conducted in India, Chennai, Bhatkal, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and in Australia, as well as in Qatar and UAE. Shabir Bhai has made much more coverage. So he is the expert on investment banking, and he has certifications about that. He has got a SEBI license also. I am in the operation side of Islamic banking, and I'm also into the faculty of some of these institutes. I went to Tanzania, where I conducted a 3-day workshop, which was very successful, where about 50 bankers attended from various banks, and it was very good. Certificates were given by the central bank. So with this background, let me tell you that जनरल जो हमारे मुस्लिम बरादरीन है, इनका इंप्रेशन ये है कि एक ही ऑप्शन है मुस्लिम्स को कि फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट्स में डालना बैंक में. नाउ उनका आइडिया है कि भी फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट्स में आप जब रखेंगे पैसे तो आपका कैपिटल अमाउंट गारंटीड है, आपका इंटरेस्ट गारंटीड है, स्पेशली फॉर रिटायर्ड पीपल और सीनियर पीपल. आपको कोई फिक्र नहीं रहेगा, आपका पैसा करेक्ट टाइम पे मंथली मिलेगा. दिस इज द ओनली ऑप्शन. ये मैं कई जगह सुना हूँ. जब भी मैं वर्कशॉप कंडक्ट करता, मेरा फीडबैक पहले यही बोलते कि क्या है ऑप्शन, क्या है, सब कुछ भी नहीं है. So over the period of at least 5-6 years, I have noticed this, and even bankers who retired, they tell me that उनका पेंशन है, जो ग्रेट्युटी है, वो फिक्स डिपॉजिट में है, स्टाफ रेट में उनको पैसे ज्यादा मिलते. मैं पूछता उनको कि दूसरे ऑप्शन अभी है आजकल, तो ये क्यों नहीं देखते? दो दे आर नॉट फुली अवेयर ऑफ द डिटेल्स, उनको डर लगता कि रिस्की है. तो ये सिलसिले में स्पेशली म्यूचुअल फंड्स, 3 म्यूचुअल फंड्स तो ऑलरेडी मार्केट में है. एक रिलीगेयर, एक टाटा एथिकल और एक टॉरस. और these 3 funds are doing very well. और एक गोल्ड फंड एक है which is also Sharia compliant. तो यहाँ पे these are in the market for more than 5-6 years, and टाटा तो और पुराना है. So people have already invested. I have invested myself, and a lot of non-Muslims have invested in this because the returns are very good. और non-Muslims मतलब Hindus, Jains, ऐसे लोग जो है, जो प्रोफेशनल्स है, जो इन्वेस्टमेंट एक्सपर्ट्स है बॉम्बे में बैठे हुए, they identified these funds as very good funds with good yield. तो उनका जो पार्टिसिपेशन है 60% है, और मुस्लिम्स का पार्टिसिपेशन 40% है. तो ये मैं जब बताता कि भाई देखो ये इनका परफॉर्मेंस अच्छा है, इसमें डालिए, ये ऑप्शन है अभी आपके पास. तो अगर ये ऑप्शन नहीं होता तो देन इट इज ओके, आपके पास कुछ भी ऑप्शन नहीं. बट जब ऑप्शन रख ले के हाथ में, हम लोग रिबा की तरफ जाते हैं, थिंकिंग दैट इज ऑल गारंटीड, वी आर डूइंग ए मिस्टेक. तो ये हम लोग रेक्टिफाई करना बहुत जरूरी है. नाउ हम लोग के जो ग्रुप ऑफ इस्लामिक बैंकर्स इंडिया में लाइसेंसिंग के लिए ट्राई कर रहे हैं. ये बहुत सीरियस टाइप का पॉलिटिकल बैकिंग के लिए बहुत ट्राई किए हम लोग. वी हैव गॉन अप टू इवन प्रेसिडेंट प्रणब मुखर्जी. वी हैव गॉन टू रंगराजन as RBI governor. We have gone to many ministers including लालू के पास भी गए हम लोग कई जगह. They all, when they explain, they are very happy about it. They are saying that this is ethical banking, we want to promote this. So finally एक report निकला रघुराम राजन का on various financial reforms, and one of the reforms he advised is Islamic banking is a good thing. It is inclusive banking. Let us go for it. Or along with some 100 other recommendations, this is one of the top recommendations. Government is fully aware, but political decision making में देर हो रही है. तो जब भी आएगा वो, there will be a huge response in the market. But till then, we have to spend time to understand what is the available options, what is the risk management in these things, and what is Sharia angle to this. तो ये हम लोग समझेंगे तो इंशाल्लाह will be very successful. दीन और दुनिया दोनों हम लोग सक्सेसफुल महसूस करेंगे. अभी हम लोग अपने बच्चों को, आई एम टॉकिंग टू ऑल द सीनियर्स हियर, बच्चे मतलब 20 years onwards, they are becoming very good engineers, very good doctors, very good bankers and professionals. तो उनको उनके प्रोफेशन में एक्सपर्टीज है, बट उनको फिनांस और इन्वेस्टमेंट में नहीं है. So a doctor son of ours earns 1 crore per month और उसको इन्वेस्टमेंट का आइडिया ही नहीं है. तो उसके पास कोई पॉन्जी फेलो और स्कैम फेलोज गो देयर एंड टेल दिस डॉक्टर, बेटा हमारे पास अच्छा स्कीम है, तुम 20 लाख डाल दो, एवरी मंथ तुम्हारे को 1 लाख मिलेगा प्रॉफिट. और दिल से बिस्मिल्लाह अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह. नाउ द डॉक्टर डजंट हैव एनी आइडिया. ही सेज हाँ बड़ा अच्छा आइडिया है, साइन करके पैसे दे देता. ऐसे कई केसेस है, बैंगलोर में, हैदराबाद में तो बहुत ज्यादा है. So these are all fraud schemes for which our children become victims because they are not been trained. So हमारा as a parents, as senior professionals, our duty is to guide the youngsters from a young age, not when they become 50 or 60, but at the age of 15, 16 years, we must tell them what is halal investments, what is haram investments, what are the options here, what are the options there. और उनको professional presentation देना है. We have to take these boys and girls with us to the banks and the investment companies. Please come with me. That's a part of our training. और ये रोज करने का काम नहीं है, साल में एक बार भी करेंगे. Our boys and girls are very smart. आप उनको थोड़ा सा initiative दिखाएंगे, they themselves make a research and get lot of information. तो ये काम हमारी जिम्मेदारी है. इंशाल्लाह after our Zoom meeting, you keep this in mind कि हमारा success as parents, as senior professionals is based on how we train our children, and this includes girls also and probably our own spouses. उनको भी पता होनी चाहिए कि भाई क्या है halal investment. So coming to the Ponzi schemes, इसका भी थोड़ा education देना जरूरी है, इसलिए कि people fall victim. The successful people who have got say 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 1 crore, they are prime targets of Ponzi scamsters. इसको expose करना जरूरी है. कैसे expose करेंगे? पहले हमको समझना है कि Ponzi scheme क्या है, what are the indicators, then we pass on this knowledge to the young professionals, young children. Now, the best thing that can happen is when our children are at the age of 22, 23, that is the time when they should enter the investment market. They should enter with some nominal amount, say 5,000, 10,000 per month as a SIP, standard investment plan. Then they pick up from there, and by the time they retire, they are crorepati's. If you start learning about investment at the age of 60, it is actually too late. That is the time at the age of 60 to train the youngsters and tell them how beneficial investment of monthly is. ओके, फर्स्ट जो पेचेक आता है उसमें मम्मी को देना है, जरूर दीजिए. सेकंड मंथ से इन्वेस्टमेंट पैनल में ज्वाइन कीजिए. तो यू आर डूइंग ए ग्रेट सर्विस टू द चिल्ड्रन in getting big funds at their time of retirement, and you are also blessing him with lot of baraka. ये बरका जो है ना, ये इनविजिबल एसेट है, which is माशाल्लाह great. तो ये बरका जो आप उनको दिलाएंगे, this is from Allah Taala, inshallah. So this is what I want to tell you. And the last word I will summarize later. I will give the mic to Shabir Bhai now. Is the whole idea of this presentation and the push for halal investment is not a sales pitch. We're not trying to sell you something funny. We are here to convince you कि हमारा जो responsibility है बच्चों को train करना और community में communication develop करना. हमारे community में ignorance बहुत ज़्यादा है about this subject. Islamic banking, halal investment, sharia, इसके बारे में बड़ा ignorance है. इसको दूर करना हमारी जिम्मेदारी है. So I want all of you to listen to Shabir Bhai and then ask questions also after the Zoom meeting. We will give our contact numbers and emails. You give us feedback, good and bad, and also shoot us questions and we'll try to clarify everything. So thank you very much, and going back to Shabir Bhai.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Sawan Bhai, for the introduction. And before that, let me thank the group who have invited us and who have taken out some time for us to express what we have in our hearts and what our niya is. As Sawan Bhai said, the whole niya here is to guide our community, our ummah, so that they will be able to make some halal investment and barakah comes in that. So with not taking much of your time, I would just try to be very brief in saying that what are the investment opportunities today for the Muslims? We all know that this gold is one kind of an asset class which is there. The second, which is very popular and where we all, most of us are in and find comfort in investing, is the real estate. So let's start with this. If the purchasing value or the value of the rupee has to be the same, it should cover at least inflation. So in short, if you put a bank deposit, which we all consider is safe, it gives plus or minus inflation. Everybody knows what is inflation. So it gives plus or minus inflation. Gold investment gives you always higher than inflation, and it is 1.5% above the inflation. Real estate or property gives you 3% above the inflation. It is only the stock market which gives you higher than, it is only the stock market which gives you inflation plus 7%. So if inflation plus 7% is in the stock market, it could be either by way of investment into mutual funds or stock market. And stock market is a place which is most, what should I say, convenient and conducive Sharia investment. Yes, John.
Volume थोड़ा increase करना है, थोड़ा नजदीक आके बात.
Yeah. So stock investment or real estate, investment in the stocks and mutual fund is the one. So if you look into stock market, the Indian stock market has got more than 6,000 companies which are Sharia compliant. Out of that, 1,334 are Sharia compliant. Out of this, zero debt companies are more than 166. So which means it's a big universe for us to make an investment and then create wealth for that. If you look into what is the Sharia compliance process, there are 4 basic kind of filters or parameters by which the Sharia scholars and the investment experts have called it Sharia compliance. One is they do the activity screening, that is the activity of the company. The main activity of the company should be permissible. Then they look into debt to total turnover, which should not be more than 25%. Now, different scholars have got different ones. The upper cap is 33%. When you have got an opportunity, the lower the better. Okay, the more, the lesser the better. So debt is more, then 33% is the maximum. Third criteria is that interest income plus 7.5% of the interest-based investment, where the total income should not exceed 3%. The third one is cash and receivables should be less than 90%. These are the 4 parameters. Once these 4 parameters are filtered, then we call it Sharia compliance. One important thing which is there when we talk about Sharia compliance is, because of the debt component which is there, that portion has to be purified, or what we call it as a purging. Now, most of the people, once we say Sharia compliance, they think that everything is Sharia and halal. No, unless you do the purging or remove the interest component which is there in the income, it cannot be halal. So Sharia compliance does not necessarily mean halal unless the purging is done. Now, let's into, as Zaman Bhai has said, that there are 2 or 3 mutual funds which have been there for a long time. How do we, who certifies that this is Sharia compliance? Right now in India, there are 2 companies which are more popular. One is Tasis. The Tasis has been in existence for 1980s. They have been the first one to do the screening of the Sharia stocks on the BSE, and they certify that and filter out and then give a list of the Sharia compliant stocks. There's another company called Islamically, who have also got an app and a web where somebody can go and identify which Sharia compliant, which companies are Sharia compliant. There's another company called Sharia Cap, with whom we have associated, and products that we have, I'll give you a little later the information about Sharia, it's about small case. Sharia Cap has certified our products, which is the Sharia small cases. Then Senseis, that is my company, which is engaged into the Sharia products, is certified as Sharia compliant, 100% Sharia compliant by Sharia Cap. We are the first and the only Sharia compliant registered investment advisor in the country. We have got the first one to get a Sharia, certification from SEBI, which is as an RIA, and there's no other RIA in the country which gives 100% Sharia compliant advisory and products. So if you look at some of the products that we do in, we look into mostly the mutual funds and the stocks. Now, not everybody is good in stocks. So what do they do? They go personally to the mutual fund. There are only 2 mutual funds out of 2,200 which are in the market, which are Sharia compliant. So after a lot of study, what Sensage has done is they have created something called Small Cases, which is basically a platform on which we display our model portfolios. So anybody who's got an account, a trading account in the major brokers, for example, Motilal Oswal, Angel Broking, or any other great, I'll give you the list of those brokers. They can come on that website, look at our Sharia compliant small cases, and they like it, they can subscribe to it by paying a small subscription fee. Alhamdulillah, as against the 2 mutual funds which were there for the last 2 decades, we have created 7 small cases which range with different risk parameters. It starts from a low risk to a high risk. The minimum amount we have kept is as low as 2,000, so that small investors can also come and join this halal investment. So the first one, or the lowest minimum amount, is 2,000, which is called the Power of 3 ETFs. You can have a look at some of these websites and then get into the investment. There are the brokers who are engaged with, if you have an account with Axis, SDFC Securities, Upstock, Motilal Oswal, Zerodha, which is a discount brokerage, all of these people can invest into these Sharia small cases. As I said, Power of 3 ETF is the lowest kind of a risk. Do you know that the returns for this is something like 15% for 3 years? It invests in 2 asset classes, that's equity and gold. By taking 1 position, you'll be investing into 29 stocks, thus reducing your risk of investment. And the returns are, alhamdulillah, very good. Other than that, you can also invest into the mutual funds, as we have said earlier. So one is a stock, the other is that we have got small cases of different risk parameters. The minimum starts with 2,000, and if you go higher, you can go up to 5 lakhs. So those who have small amounts, who want to test it out, they can do it with the small cases, of which is Power of 3 ETF. We will also circulate to you a dashboard that is a Sharia investment performance dashboard, which lists all the Sharia investment opportunities which are there in the stock market. Please have a look at it. And then if you have any queries, you can always come to us, write to us, or Zaman Bhai, and we'll be happy to give it to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you improve the volume a little bit?
You want me to increase the volume?
Yes, it's
Okay.
a bit low.
Okay. Okay. So I think I will stop here and then ask Zaman Bhai to make some comments, or if he has got some kind of remarks.
Okay. Shabir Bhai is giving you a very clear and detailed picture of the stock market operations. How many companies are there, out of which how many companies are halal certified or Sharia compliant. That's a good knowledge. One point I want to clarify here, or add to what Shabir Bhai has said, is risk management. तो जब Sharia compliant investments or Islamic banking जब बात करते हैं, the main feature is that risk management is very strong in the sense that Islamic banking and Sharia investments avoid all kinds of risks. Minimum risk लेते हैं. So high risk companies are companies which operate on 90% debt. We avoid. Companies which are into the haram sectors, we avoid. Companies with too much of receivables, that means they are not able to recover the amounts on the market, they're showing weakness, we avoid those. So I say जब फूक के जब इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हैं, अच्छे strong financial factors देख के जब इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, the basket contains mostly blue chip companies, mostly very strong companies which have very less chances of failing. तो ये चीज ध्यान में रखना है कि इस्लामिक बैंकिंग इज नॉट अ रिस्की इन्वेस्टमेंट, इट इज लोएस्ट ऑफ द लो रिस्क इन्वेस्टमेंट. आप किसी भी हलाल इन्वेस्टमेंट में you go into the scripts where we are investing, you check the company's financial reports, you will be very happy to see them. So ये एक चीज आप याद रखिए, और based on that the people's confidence also will grow when you tell them that we invest only in the safest companies. तो इसमें ये देखना है कि भाई ये कंपनीज का प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी भी ज्यादा रहेगा. तो one factor you should remember is Islamic banking or Sharia follows one basic principle of risk. It is halal to lose money. It is halal to earn money. तो ये नहीं कि भाई हमको guaranteed income चाहिए हमेशा, is not correct. This is what happens in the haram kind of investments, जहाँ guaranteed बोल के investment लेते हैं और पता नहीं क्या होता है. Whereas in Islamic banking and Sharia compliance में, if the market is going up and down, you should feel from your heart, अरे मेरे पैसे इधर कम हो गए, 5% आज loss हो गई. शुक्र अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह 90% safe है, and inshallah Allah Ta'ala will give you barakah in the next quarter or next whatever. So Allah Ta'ala wants us to feel the ups and downs of investments. हमारा business चल रहा है तो हमको कुछ feeling होनी चाहिए कि यार ऊपर जा रहा है नीचे जा रहा है, not speculation but as an investment. But if you are sitting back, मैं इन्वेस्टमेंट कर दिया, जो भी चला रहा है वो बिजनेस, जो भी वो फॉर्म में प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है वो उसका हेडेक है, मेरे को बस फिक्स्ड इनकम चाहिए, मैं बैठा रहूंगा, जमींदारी टाइप ऑफ थिंग. दिस इज नॉट अलाउड इन इस्लाम. तो ये बात भी याद रखिए. So a small loss suddenly doesn't mean that your whole investment is sinking. Ji, Shabir bhai, you want to say something?
I just wanted to share experience. Whenever I attend the international conferences and speak to the best of the analysts and the economists, even during the COVID time, they have always said that the revival of the economy will be only with the companies who are not leveraged or who have got lowest debts. And this was very prominent during the COVID time. That is one. Two, another common factor which is there where people ask for is, if I want a regular income, is there an opportunity through the stock market or to the mutual funds? Yes, there is an opportunity to do that, and we'll help you out in trying to create these products and then structure it so that you can have a monthly income. Third is that I will just give you one kind of a thing about this power of 3 ETF, how we have created it, what was the thinking behind it. The common question that people ask is, or let's say, what do we do? If we have some money, those who are not taking the interest, they will, for safety purpose, we keep the money in the savings account, in the bank, right? Now, the interest that we get of 3.5%, we give it in charity because that is an interest amount, we don't take it. Two is that the purchasing power of the rupee currency has been going down. So that is inflation. So every year it goes down by 5%. Third, every year at the end of the year, you need to take out 2.5% as zakat. So this small case that we have created and backtested to find out whether it will cover at least the inflation. It has not only covered the inflation, it has not only covered the 2.5% payout which we need to make out at the end of the year. Over and above that, it has given you a good return and the investment into stocks which are blue chip companies and also into the gold, which is normally works inversely proportionate to the equity. That's what I want to cover. Thank you.
Just a quick 2-3 points. We can then wind up with Shabir Bhai's comments, inshallah. एक चीज बताना है जरूरी समझता हूं मैं कि there are a lot of people in the market who say that they're investment experts, they're portfolio managers. The first thing you need to do is, have they got a SEBI license? Have they got a certification? तो उनके qualification भी पूछ सकते हैं आप, कहाँ तक पढ़े हैं, क्या है. तो without academic background or professional qualifications, without SEBI license or any other mandatory licenses, don't touch them, don't talk to them. So if they fight shy, नहीं मैं बाद में दिखाऊंगा आपको क्यों शक हो रहा है, just don't believe them. Second thing is, Shabir Bhai has a SEBI license, and that will be shown in a few slides we'll send you after the Zoom meeting, 4 or 5 slides which are very good to look at. And the other thing I want to tell you is about this monthly income which Shabir Bhai mentioned. This is something very important for our Muslim investors, especially for those people who are retiring, but even for people at the age of 40 or something, it's good to have monthly income. So Shabir Bhai takes the responsibility of designing a particular portfolio for you, which will increase the capital also. At the same time, you can withdraw your monthly requirement from there. So dono साथ साथ, little bit of monthly income and little bit of capital appreciation. The other thing is, जब start करेंगे investment, most of you may have already bank accounts with PIS, Portfolio Investment Scheme accounts. These are different from normal savings accounts. PIS, all your investments in and out will flow into that account. Second is Demat account. Demat account is available at least 8 authorized places, and other banks are also starting Demat services. तो ये जब account open करेंगे यहाँ पर दोनों जगह, बैंक में और Demat में company brokers के साथ, you have to only fill up the KYC formats or documentation one time. उसके बाद जो है, you don't need to visit them and all that, and some of them are doing it online also. So डरने की बात नहीं है, formalities may take half an hour, 1 hour, whatever, but that's a good investment, and it's not going to happen again and again. It's only one-off exercise, and in this we can help you, especially Shabir Bhai के office में staff है, they will help you fill up the forms and guide you if there is any complicated matters. So inshallah, keeping in this mind, we also caution you that there's some misunderstanding even among very educated people, probably bankers understand it. The investment is not going to Shabir Bhai's Sensage company or his business. The investment is not going to some secret company of Zakir Bhai. It is going into the quoted stock companies, the companies which are quoted on the Bombay Stock Exchange and the National Stock Exchange. So the market is from those companies' performances. It is nothing to do with any investment in our companies, in Shabir Bhai's companies. We are only providing you investment advice, especially specializing in halal investment, Sharia principles, and Islamic banking. So inshallah, I hope you have conveyed the message, and I feel very happy that I am contributing something to the education of the community and spreading the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how you can make your investments and income more and more towards halal and getting lots of barakah, inshallah. Thank you very much. Shabir bhai can close it.
Jazakallah. Thank you very much. I think what Zaman bhai said, I would like to just add one line there to say that when you make an investment in these small cases or anything, the investments are all in your name. The investments are all in your name, in your account, and since you just pay the small subscription fee or the fee which is there. Otherwise, there's
Right.
nothing else. Tomorrow, if you want to move out to some other broker, you can do it. You're free to do it. It's like going to a doctor and then taking the prescription from him. But the treatment, suppose if one doctor is not there, what do? You take the prescription file and go to another doctor. So similarly, we are just giving the advice. We can also advise to you that in case we are not there, who is the next person or who's the advisor you can go to. The choice is yours, but we can always recommend depending on your profile and the profile of the advisor. Thank you very much. This is what I had. Jazakallah. Thank you very much for giving your ears to hear what we have to say. And inshallah, my prayers and dua is that everybody follows this halal way of investment. And I'll be too happy if all of you join us in this mission. Thank you very much. Jazakallah.
Thank you, Shabir bhai, and thank you all of you for listening to our presentation. And inshallah, we welcome all kinds of feedback, good, bad, and ugly. And you can interact with us. You will see the slides where you will get the mobile number, email, and our website. Thank you. Jazakallah. Fi amanillah.